I'm Zed0. I'm going to be doing a run of the original campaign of Neverwinter Nights. This is Reba. She's going to be reminding me to say things, I think.
I don't have a mic.
Yeah, she doesn't have a mic, so she's going to try and prompt me to say things. Yeah, we're doing the original campaign, so might as well get started. Creating a new character. Going for a woman because they have slightly smaller hitboxes. Human because you get extra feet, which is way better than everything else that any other race gives you. This portrait because I like it. Going for a wizard because we want a load of spells. We've got spells that make us run faster and make us invisible and things. Alignment, lawful evil, because we want to multi-class into monk later, so that's why we're lawful. Evil because you get more XP if you're evil at one point in the game.
This isn't part of the run.
Abilities, not really typical wizard stats, so we're going for lots of strength and constitution to make us be able to fight in close combat, and intelligence gives us one extra proficiency point occasionally. Appraise lets us sell stuff slightly more, and concentration to avoid getting our spells interrupted if we get attacked. We need to use open lock once in the game, so we're going to have that, and persuade a couple of times, and tumble to give us a chance to dodge attacks of opportunity, and then we'll go grab toughness for survivability, and weapon proficiency martial so we can use a greatsword, which is what we use for the first half of the game. Going to specialise in illusion because that gives us the invis spell at level 3 rather than later on in the game, and we're going to get expeditious retreat, which lets us run fast, and tree strike, which gives us bonus to attack, and then 2 other random spells we don't care about. And we're going to choose a Panther. You can choose Hellhound or Panther to do the clips in the game, but Panther has better stats, so we choose that. And then just appearance and voice lines don't matter. Right, so timing will start when I skip the cinematic, so I'll give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so immediately we're going to avoid this NPC talking to us just by running past him and telling this guy that we don't want to do the tutorial, and then going and selling half of our starting items because we want to get a greatsword and we can afford it if we sell half our stuff. Dialogue zoom seems to be enabled, which is annoying, but I haven't worked out how to disable it because the option doesn't seem to be working. Right, so here I'm going to do an animation cancel when I cast this first spell. You'll see me queue up a second spell up here. And if we are on our last cast of a spell and we queue up another spell, then we can cancel, or we don't have to wait for the animation to play out of the first spell that we cast. We can just start running away immediately. Equip our greatsword and talk to Arabeth. She's one of the main NPCs, and then this is kind of the end of the combat tutorial. Yeah, so this whole game is in D&D 3rd edition rules, so sometimes it's not worth actually... Oh, that's really bad, I got slapped, which is going to last for freaking ages. That was alright. So I'm not actually going to go and deal with that guy, because I'm hoping Arabeth will just deal with him. Yeah, there we go. So because of the D&D rule set, if you do something that counts as an action, then that's the only action you can perform within that 6-second period, and talking to people counts as an action. So if you have done an attack and then you want to talk to somebody, you potentially have to wait an extra 6 seconds. So if I don't attack that last guy and just let them deal with it, then I can get the conversation going a bit faster. Right, there's a goblin here who I'm going to kill. Most of them we run past, but this guy I'm going to kill because he drops an item that I want. We got slightly bad RNG, so I'd hoped he would trigger an attack of opportunity when he ran towards me, but he didn't. That's alright. Just going to do a bit of inventory management while I wait for his remains to appear, and yeah, get those wonder fireballs, which lets us cast fireball twice, which we're going to use at the end of the prelude. We've run past the rest of the goblins, and we're going to talk to this bloke because he just gives us a level up when we talk to him. We're going to do our level up quickly, just taking the recommended stuff because we can't get through this door until we do our level up. I'm just going to make sure dialogue seems disabled because it's getting annoying. Alright, so now we're going to do our first cast of Expeditious Retreat. We didn't cast it at a level, well, we were level 1 because the casting time is actually longer than the amount of time you save by running faster. I'm just going to quick save here as well because this guy coming up can actually kill us with the magic missile I was going to cast on us. Alright. And we're immediately going to cast the Wonder Fireballs at the goblins here, which kills most of them, and there will probably be some more coming through, which we're going to kill with another Fireball. If she ever casts it. There we go, right, okay. Some of them are still alive, that's fine. We're just going to try and talk to this guy, and hopefully we'll give us a level up. Right, so we're going to get another level in Appraise and Persuade, just because we need the stats, and we're going to grab Extend Spell, which gives us longer spells, and we're going to grab Flame Weapon and Invisibility, which are the spells we want for next level and the rest of the game. And that's the kind of the prelude. So we're in Act 1 now. There are 3 acts in this game. We're going to go through all of them, obviously. I'm curing the wrong spells because I'm getting flustered. It's fine. So we queued up Expeditious Retreat and... Oh, bother. I loaded the wrong... I think I must have not quick saved there. Sorry, I'm going to have to go through the last bit fairly quickly again. Oh dear, this is bad if I die. Right, we're okay. Alright, let's try not to do that again. I'll make sure it actually saves this time before I try and load the save. And I'll actually equip the right spells this time. Okay, so it definitely saved there, and I'm loading its quick save. Right, okay, we're fine. Yeah, so we loaded quick save there because saving and loading is faster than actually waiting for the rest. So Arabeth talks to us briefly and gives us a spell, an item that lets us return to this point, which is obviously very handy for getting around the place. You can actually teleport back to the temple and then return to where you were, but we only use that once. Most of the time we just come back to the temple. Yeah, so the main kind of plot of each act is to go and get some number of items. In the first one we need to get 4 items, so we need to go to 4 different kind of quarters of the city to get different items. Most of the time we just run past everything. Alright, so there's a guard captain here that I want to get to before he spots the enemies, otherwise he'll get stuck in combat and we won't be able to talk to him. Nah, we were too slow. That's alright. We got diseased, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the game. So, because of the rounds from D&D, we had to wait a bit to talk to him there, which was annoying. Right, so I'm just going to swap out a casting of Expeditious Retreat for Invisibility here, because we want to be invis for the rest of the first act, pretty much. Right, so we're going to persuade this guy to open the gates for us, and then we're just going to rest just up here. So we want to persuade this guy to, yeah, he let us through first time. We were trying to persuade him to let us through the door. If you fail to persuade, just check you can restart the conversation. So I was just kind of hesitating there for a bit to make sure that we'd actually succeeded the persuade check. So I'm invisible at the moment, and you can see the status icon up in the top right. Sometimes when you go through area transitions, you can still be invisible, but the character animation will disappear, but you'll still be able to see the status icon at the top right. Yeah, we know that trap's there and just tank it because why not? So yeah, we're just running past all the enemies as you might expect. Here we're going to pick up an item which is a +1 greatsword. It is better than our current weapon, but we're not going to use it, we're just going to sell it later for some money. And we're going to hug the wall here to avoid that trap there, because that trap's quite nasty. And this is the end of the kind of first quarter of the first act, I guess. So we get to the... get one of the items that we need to get, and then we go and hand in that bit of the quest to Arabeth. Most of them we don't hand in immediately, but this one we need some money from her. And we're just going to heal because we're diseased as well. And now we're going to go and get a henchman and do the next part of it. So we're going very much to the side there because this person down here wants to talk to us and we don't want to talk to her. So henchmen in this game are pretty loyal, like even if they die or whatever, they'll come back and work for you again. And they'll follow you around. We're going to tell them to stand his ground, which is basically just stay where you are. We want to do that because we don't want him kind of interfering with us while we're invisible, so we want to just be able to run past everybody, and we don't want him getting in combat with them. But we do need him to deal with a couple of enemies later on. Yeah, so every time you go through an area transition, he'll kind of walk to where you are. And we're going to cast Invis immediately when I get in here because some enemies spawn and we don't want to deal with them. We want to go talk to this merchant, sell that greatsword we picked up and get a scroll of Phantasmal Killer, which we use to deal with one of the bosses. I forgot to equip a couple of my spells, that's fine, we're just going to have to walk this bit a little bit slower, that's alright. So this is the only time in the game that we use our picklock skill, and we're going to save just after I've done this as well, because if we mess up the clip in a second then we'll die. So why we've got this henchman is this guy is pretty strong and we want him to deal with our henchman while we go and get through this gate. So this is the first instance of familiar clipping. So we can kind of reverse our familiar into ourselves and clip ourselves through doors like so. Oh, rip, our familiar died. Okay, because our familiar died, we'll have to rest here, because we need our familiar again in a second. And I need to remember to cast invisibility again after I rest, otherwise the next bit's going to go pretty badly. So we just got to cast invis and resummon our familiar and tell our familiar to follow us. I'm also going to resave here in case I mess up the next clip. There's also some fantastic voice lines here. I don't know if you heard them or not. So hopefully these guys will ignore us, but sometimes they don't, and that's kind of annoying. Okay, so our familiar's not done what we want. These clips can be kind of finicky, so ideally if we're kind of half stuck in the wall like that, we can get the familiar to get us through the wall. There we go. So this is the kind of the second quarter of the first act. So we grab that item, which is the item we needed to get, and then we get the hell out. and we get our henchmen back and just rest up for the next section. We're just going to tell our familiar and our henchmen just to stay at the start of the area, so they don't get on our way too much. Oh no, she talked to her. It's fine, it's not the end of the world, it just loses a little bit of time because she stops you moving for a moment. Pathfinding is pretty awful sometimes. So this is the prison district, which is currently rioting, so we need to get to the bottom of the prison and fight an intellect devourer. So most of it's just going to be running past people. It's alright, we got our invis spell off, so they're not going to deal with us, they're not going to hurt us too much. We left it that long because we wanted to last longer. We're going to cast an extended expeditious retreat as well to get us run past everybody else. Yeah, so basically we're trying to get to the bottom of this dungeon. This is probably the most RNG in the run. There's a lot of NPCs who can just kind of stand in your way. Yeah, there's a key conveniently under this doormat for this door, so we just go in here. These beetles are the first people that can get in your way. These guys usually aren't too bad. We've got kind of tank controls on WASD that we can use to get past them, and that was fine. I've got to be slightly careful on this chessboard because there's traps all over it. I may not spot them, but I know where they are anyway. Yeah, so a lot of the black squares there have traps on. These beetles can also get in the way, but hopefully that's fine. And I'm going to rest to the moment I get through the door because when you first move, when you get into an area, is when it checks for enemies to bite. So if I rest before I move, then I can rest even though there are some enemies just through this door. So I haven't turned invisible yet because I want the invisibility to last as long as possible. I'm just going to run past people until just up here, and now I'm going to cast invis. So yeah, there's a lot of people like this that are kind of crowded around doors, so I'm going to save just in case RNG is bad, because if my invis runs out, then there's not much I can do to get through the area without dying. Need to click that lever, which these people are very unhelpfully standing in front of. Yeah, I accidentally clicked on the dude and attacked him. So even though it doesn't look like we're invisible, we've still got the status icon up here showing us we are invisible, so none of the enemies should notice us. Right, the people aren't in front of this lever this time, which is helpful. This door is one of the worst for people being right in front of it. There we go. Alright, that was actually not too bad. It looked slow, but that was like fine. And this area is kind of maze-like, but I can probably remember the way. There's traps in the middle of a lot of the rooms, which is why I don't go kind of straight through them. Oh, these guys are really nice to us. Normally these guys are right up against this door. Yeah, there's a trap in the middle of this room, which is why I'm going around. This door is also potentially a nasty one. Once you get the door open, it's usually not so bad. It's like getting to the door is the awkward bit. Come on, be nice to me. Yeah. No balls. Yeah, I misclicked on the dude there. This guy should be fine. Be nice to me this time? Yeah, okay, that should be fine. Yeah, normally once you get the door open, everything's fine, usually. So in a moment I'm going to be doing a different type of clip. So we've done the familiar clip so far. You can also clip through doors just by running at them really fast. So I'm just going to save here in case I don't manage it, but I should be fine. So you can pause it and then just click on either side of the door and run through them, which is quite fun. Right, so this is the bit that I got that scroll for earlier, to kill that guy. But if I kill him without persuading these guys to run away, then he will possess them. So I'll have to fight them as well. So I'm just going around the people in the room while my familiar and henchmen kind of deal with him. Okay, and then I'm going to cast this scroll. He gets 2 chances to save against it. If he manages either of them, if he succeeds either of them, then he'll survive. But he failed on both first time, which is pretty good. Usually it's like second or third try on that. But you save just before and reload until he fails both the saves. Right, so now I'm going to get rid of my henchmen and familiar for the next section because they ruin our stealthiness. But we're going to leave them just by the portal so that we can pick them back up easily at the end of this next section. This is the last of the 4 sections in the first act. The first act is by far the longest of the 3 acts. Like over half of the game is spent in the first act. I don't know why she wandered into that cart. That was interesting pathfinding. Zombies are pretty slow. So for a lot of the time during this act, we're not even going to bother with invisibility. I can't hear the audio cues, so hopefully I've done enough of that conversation, but that should be fine. And just cast Expeditious Retreat so I can run past the next lot of zombies. I'm going to save just before going through this next door, because sometimes going through this next door you spawn in the middle of the room, which means you don't have a chance to get your invisibility spell off, but that should be fine. Yeah, that was fine. And we don't want to go invisible straight away because we want to draw people away from this door, because otherwise, like the previous area, they'll stand next to the door and don't let you past. Right, I'm also going to save here because we needed another familiar clip, but these beetles all tried to be beating him up at the time, so... that was good, that was pretty good. And we're going to unsummon familiar because we don't want the familiar to die. Because if the familiar dies, then we lose hit points. And I'm also going to remove invisibility and grab flame weapon instead. I just cast Expeditious Retreat on myself to make myself run faster through this bit in the next little area. It can be very dark in this next little area. Ah, no, the brightness is fine. On some monitors, the brightness in this area means it's almost impossible to see where you're going. And just rest immediately to get my flame sword spell and also recharge the rest of my spells. So this is a fantastic voice line if you can hear it. Just the voice acting seems a bit off in places. And yeah, zombies are pretty slow, so we can basically just run past them all in these areas. I realised I forgot to actually hotkey my flame sword, so let's do that. I'm going to save up here as well, just in case I fail the clip in a sec. So all these tumble successes are me succeeding my roll to avoid an attack of opportunity. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, we managed to clip, right. So this is the boss of this area. We're just going to walk up to her and then we're going to teleport home. And now we're going to grab our henchmen and summon our familiar and just buff ourselves to the fight. And this fight is pretty RNG. Like, it can be over almost immediately, or it can take a while. So yeah, it's very much RNG. Sometimes the Panther just decides to go off and attack these zombies instead. There's not a lot you can do about it. She does also have a spell that can one-shot us, so hopefully she doesn't cast that. But that's why I saved if she does cast it. So yeah, this is going pretty well so far. Yeah, that was nice. That was good, that was good. So that's the last of the 4 items that we need to get in the first act. So now we're going to go talk to Arabeth and handle our quests in. And now this is like the epilogue of the first act. So we're going to try and avoid talking to this dude, who's going to come over and talk to us in a sec. He's still trying to talk to us. He's very eager. Alright, we're going to do a full rest this time rather than saving and loading. And we're going to swap out some of our spells while we're waiting. We don't need Invis anymore, and we don't really need Expeditious Retreat much anymore. Yeah, so we're about to get ambushed. Because the dude in red betrays us, so I've kind of positioned my henchman. I tried to position him to attack the dude beside him, but he sometimes just runs over to you anyway. Oh my god, I'm doing pretty badly. My hit rolls have gone awful. This dude is got fear on him, which is really annoying. Oh, he's recovered, okay. Oh, sleep is super annoying here. But unfortunately he attacked me while I was sleeping, so I didn't have to wait the full sleep duration. Right, okay. That was a pretty slow combat, but it's not the end of the world. Right, so we talked to Arabeth and she's upset that Destha betrayed us. So we need to go and find Destha and sort him out. So we're unequipping our greatsword here because we don't use it for the rest of the run. We're coming up to the biggest glitch in the run, which is a XP glitch. So I'm going to probably be fairly quiet during it because I need to do some kind of timing to work out how much XP I need. I'll try and explain it. So we released this demon with that book we just picked up. I'm just going to save here. Okay, so we've got these 4 cloaks, which is what we want. And then every time we click on him, while the game is paused, we get 375 XP, which we get more because we're evil. So while the game is paused, we just gotta spam click on him for ages. I can hear the audio cue. You can kind of hear a cyclic wave sound. So I'd normally do about 23 of these. I'll probably do like 24 or 25 because it's a marathon, and I don't have to go through this section again. Thank you for the anonymous £10 donation saying hi, Reba. So I'm just trying to count here. I find it quite hard to count while I'm being distracted by other things, so hopefully it'll be alright. Yeah, it probably looks like the game's basically frozen apart from my cursor moving around. Sometimes the game can get very laggy here. Normally it goes away once you unpause. So I think that's like being safe. That's 15. I think it's probably like more like 16 or 17. Yeah, if I fail this, I have to do it all again. I don't know if I'm going to fail it until I've done all of my level ups that I'm going to get from this XP afterwards. So the game's lagging a fair bit at the moment. I'm hoping it doesn't crash. The trouble is when the game lags, it doesn't register your clicks. So I'm inclined to stop here and just unpause and hope. It's possible the game will crash. Right, so hopefully we've got enough levels. We're going to level up as a monk because they have they don't need any equipment really, and they get improved movement speed. So to start with, I'm just going to take the recommended stuff, and then I'm going to choose some specific skills later on. So improved critical armor strike is the first of the skills that we want. Weapon focus on arm strike is the second one. Epic prowess, and then epic weapon focus on arm strike is the other one we want. So we got enough levels. So this is our final level. So we're gonna take some appraise and some lore so that we can sell stuff for a lot and identify stuff ourselves. And then epic weapon focus on arm strike is the other one to take. So you'll probably notice in a sec that we run quite fast now. And yeah, we're substantially higher level than you're meant to be able to get in this campaign, so we can deal with everything pretty quickly. So we have to kill this guy to make this dude vulnerable, and he's the guy that betrayed us earlier, so while we're hitting him, we're just going to identify our items that we got. He gives up pretty quickly. And that's the end of the first act, finally. So they burn him at the stake. Second act, we're immediately going to kind of teleport to the temple, which is a different temple in this place, and sell all those items that we got in exchange for the belt, the gloves, and these robes. The robes give us permanent haste, which is quite nice. The belt makes us immune to fear, which we really need at one point. And the gloves just make us hit things really hard. Immunity to fear is very useful later on because there's a fear aura, and if you're not immune to fear, quite often you'll just run away and not be able to do anything for like 20 seconds. So similar to the first act, the second act, you have to go and get you need to go and get 2 items. These cultist journals, because you're trying to find the cult that's behind the attack that happened at the end of that last act. That's some very interesting stuff going on with the vision. That's fine. Fortunately, due to a glitch, we only need to get 1 of the items in this act, so we're going to get 1 of them, and then there's item glitch we can perform. So the other the first of these items is just here on this dude. And yeah, we're pretty OP now, so we can just hit anybody with our fists and they'll die pretty immediately. So we're going to, because this is a plot item, we're going to drop the plot item, and then this little shop thing here, this pool, will give us the ability to get back any plot items that we've lost, but they haven't checked that the item's actually like been destroyed or anything, so we just drop it on the ground, buy the second version of it, and pick it back up again. So we hand those into Arabeth, and we find out that the cultists come from like the Mage Tower in Luskan, which is where we're going to next. And we talk to that dude because he lets us open one of the gates just over here. So that's kind of the main section of the second act we've just done, and now we're heading towards the epilogue of the second act. Which is in the city called Luskan, which is like Neverwinter's enemy city. Just talk to this dude to get him to open the gate. And Luskan can be pretty... I'm going the wrong way. Luskan can be pretty maze-like. Normally my camera's facing the other way, which is why I tried to go the wrong way there. Yeah, a lot of the areas in the city look pretty similar to each other. So hopefully these guys won't block us too long. If they do, we can just hit them a bit until they get out of the way. Normally we just want to run past all these people. The dudes up here can block the door quite badly, but normally we can get them to come towards us and then get around them. Because we're completely over level, we're pretty impervious to damage. And we can also clip through doors really easily because we run really fast now. So we don't even need to cast any spells or anything. So we've got this seal here which lets us get across the bridge to the Mage Tower. Okay, so I think I got it there. I can't hear the sound you hear when you get a plot, do a plot item, so I think I got it. Yeah, we did, that's fine. So this is like the Mage Tower, and there's a whole load of levels to this, each of which you need like a key to get to. So normally you have to kind of wander around the levels an awful lot to get through each of these portals to go to a different level. Fortunately, we know where all the keys to get to the correct levels are, so we're just going to go and pick them up. So this gets us up to the next level. And because somebody attacked us, we're too excited to talk in this round, so we've got to wait some amount of time until we can talk to the pillar. I always get confused about where the door is. You're meant to do some stuff here to unlock the door, but we can just run through it. So we have to kill an imp before we can get into this chest, so we wait for the imp to spawn and just kill him. We missed twice, which is quite unusual given our level. Okay, there we go. Finally got through, and this key gets us up to the pinnacle, which is the top of the tower. So we haven't had to go through all of the levels. We can just go up to the top, and we ignore this like lich looking thing and just run through the door. I didn't quite get that clip. There we go. So this is where we discover the ancient ones are behind the cult, and we've got this crossbow from the beginning of the game which we're going to attack that guy with, and the trigger for the plot hook is them opening that gate, which normally we have to do, but because we can persuade them to come through the gate, they just do it for us and we don't have to fight them. Right, so this is the third act. So I think I got the plot thing there. Again, like the second act, we need to go and get a whole load of one item. We are again going to use the item duping glitch to only get one copy of it, and this time we're going to dupe it twice rather than once. So we're just running to the nearest place that we know we can get the item. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a trek. So some sparkly light effects here. These guys just here love to follow us through this transition, but we don't really care about that. We can just like leave them here. I'm going to make a quick save here because if you mess up this clip then you'll get stuck in this wall and won't be able to get out. I'm just going to load that save. Oh, come on. There we go. Nice. I'm just gonna kill this dude. He's meant to be like one of the hardest guys in the game, but we're pretty high level, so we just hit him. He's actually doing some amount of damage to us though. And he drops an item that lets us use this altar, and that lets us talk to this person who arrives in a second. And she tells us that the Ancient Ones all live in this Source Stone thing, and these words of power help us get to the Source Stone. So in theory, the 3 items we need to get in this act are 3 words of power, but we can just get the same one repeatedly. I'm doing very badly at actually clicking on things at the moment, but normally that should be a pretty smooth process. So that's the end of the 3rd act, and I was wrong, there's actually 4 acts rather than 3 acts. So this act is going and finding the final remaining word of power, which lets us access the Source Stone where the Ancient Ones are hiding. So we're gonna go and find the final word of power, which is being held by Arabeth, who has now betrayed us, and her boss Malgrim. And to get to them we need to find some of the cult members and defeat a demon that they've made a deal with, who's guarding a portal to get to Arabeth and Malgrim. So this is the demon just here. He's pretty easy, fortunately. Or it's pretty easy given our level. So this would normally be the Arabeth fight in this room. She's over on the left-hand side. Fortunately, we can just run through the door and ignore her. And this is the Malgrim fight. So we're going to cast Tree Strike on ourselves before we attack him. And we're going to try and knock him down repeatedly. Because he tries to cast Time Stop, and if he gets that off, it just like loses 30 seconds because you just have to wait for him to cast this. Like, wait for him to do his stuff in Time Stop. So we got the word of power from the chest. We're just gonna get this guy to heal us while we go through this area transition. But because we're now on the run to the final boss, we won't be at full health because she or some of her traps at least can kill us with relative ease. I mean, it's still not that likely, but it's possible. So we're running under Castle Neverwinter to open up the Source Stone. You can't get through that door, I need to clip through it, I don't know why I'm trying to get through it. So these 3 already have the words of power from the previous acts, and we just need to activate the final one, and then we can go into the Source Stone, which is where all these like Ancient Ones, so these lizard folk, reside. And Morak, who's like the big bad of the entire thing, and is the final boss, is hiding in the end of this dungeon. Don't go straight for this portal because there's a trap in the way. Like, these 2 dragons have this aura, that kind of circle thing, which is why we've got the immunity to fear, because otherwise we get stuck just running away from them. And we can clip through those 2 doors. So go through this door and then clip through another door, and then we're at the final boss. So time is actually coming up relatively soon. It's not when I hit the final boss. Alright, I'm going to make a save here. So we want to avoid talking to the final boss here by running to the side, and then attack this dude that makes her... Attacking this person makes her vulnerable. And then we just start attacking her. And she takes a long time to work out what's going on. Like, she does try and cast time stop, but she's got a pretty low chance of actually getting it off and passing her concentration check because we keep hitting her. Right, so in this next area, time will come in a moment. When we go through this next portal is when time is. So, time. Hey. So, thank you for watching, everybody. That was Neverwinter Nights. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch. I'm Zed0, Zed0. Yeah, thanks for watching. And donate to Special Effect because they're awesome. Thank you.